What is going on, everyone? We are back with another SnowRunner mod development video. I'm so excited, guys, because the SnowRunner mod that we've been working on, the first mod, the 2021 Toyota Tacoma TRD PRO, is now being released today, guys. That's right, it is being released for PC today. I got Iceberg here with me, a very special guest. We're going to cruise, we're going to customize the Tacoma, go over, and I want to share a little bit of insight onto the vision that we had with this Tacoma, and I want you guys to see a little perspective from Iceberg, the mod developer, through the stages of developing this mod, and us working together to bring this mod to what it is today. I'm super excited though, guys, but do me a huge favor, drop a like on the video, make sure you drop a sub on the channel, guys. We're going to jump into it here in just a second. If you could do me one last favor, make sure you drop by and like and sub to the Delta Gaming channel, guys. Alright, let's jump into it.
Man, you know what? I think how long has it been? 3 weeks since we started? And every time, from the first time I put the mod into the test map, every time I went in there to get it out to test it, there was always something big, something different about it, and something big. And
so customizing and looking at it, which out of the three engine options are your favorite? Is your favorite engine the TRD Pro, the stock, or the upgraded?
well, depends on the use, but personally, I like the mid-range engine. Um, it offers enough power to get, like, I could still haul the Scott trailer, and it's good on the fuel consumption. And that's what a lot of players are going to notice, by the way. A lot of mods that come out, there's not a lot of emphasis on realism, so all the engines consume really low amounts of fuel. You guys are gonna notice from the get-go that you're gonna need to think about which engine you select for this truck.
Right.
And personally, I prefer the mid-range engine. It could get me everywhere, and it still has enough power to get the job done.
And so that leads into my next question. And I know we talked a little bit about this, but I think it'd be really cool for everyone else to get some insight on it. With the TRD Pro fine-tuned off-road gearbox, there's also a TRD Pro non-fine-tuned off-road gearbox. And so I'm curious what your inspiration in having both options was. What, to you, was that doing for the driver themselves?
All right. Well, this came back from feedback from the GMC. Obviously, the fine-tune wasn't a feature that was added, and everybody was excited about it. So I went ahead with it. But then I had some players coming back to me saying they really don't like that feature. So it would be cool if I just added a second gearbox with without the fine-tune option. And I thought I would have preferred if you could actually, do that on your end as the user, as a player, be able to select whether you want fine-tune on or off.
Right.
But we don't have that feature, so I thought it would be a really cool option to give players that option to choose which gearbox they want, if they want the fine-tune off or on, by selecting which gearbox they want it in there.
Absolutely. And so, having spent so much time developing this model and also testing it, out of the transmission options, we have an option for everyone for every purpose. Which transmission, in your opinion, is your favorite?
Oh my god. Listen, this mod has everything. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. All right. You can choose the crawler, and you could pretty much drive anywhere with this setup, or you could go for the fine-tune pro, the fine-tune the non-fine-tune or the fine-tuned, and it literally could, anything you want to do with this truck, it has a setting for that. And that's one of the things I find out I've done different as well with this mod. I've really opened up the options for customization. I've really thought about a lot of different players' needs and wants on this on the amount of options that you've got.
Right. And so, speaking of options, and this is something that I was fortunate enough to have a little bit of play in, when you look at the suspensions, I know we have the RCLT HD, which is like the crawler suspension, heavy duty crawler suspension. Then we also have Fox Balance suspension set, Pro towing suspension set, and the lifted Fox Sports set. Knowing that this isn't being used for gooseneck, the most it's probably going to be used for is just a normal Scout trailer. And the fact that, this is a very versatile Scout, out of those suspension options, what do you think, in your opinion, is your favorite suspension option to choose?
My favorite is actually the Fox Balance suspension set, and that's the default it spawns with. And this was something I actually mentioned from the start, that even like having a stock setting or a default setting, some players might think, oh, I want to upgrade. It's fully capable. Like literally every option on here is capable, even if it's a stock or it says default. So my favorite is actually the balanced, which it spawns with. Um, but you still got the for those players who want bigger wheels, because you can actually fit bigger wheels with the balanced suspension. So for the players who like bigger wheels, you've got a raised option, and for the players who want a tow, they've got a towing option. And if you want to crawl, you've got a crawling option.
Right, and with the suspensions from the balance and the towing, there's not that much of a height difference. The only height difference is in the rear.
Yeah, adding weight to the vehicle, and I think that adds to realism as well. In most vehicles of this caliber that is built for towing, you would find that the emphasis on the strength of suspension will be placed at the rear. So I went for realism on this one. So that's why you see the rear raise up a bit. In the game, though, it's actually a lot stiffer as well. Um, yeah.
Not exactly the suspension you want to go try to scout around in and possibly have to recover a friend. For my testing
No.
today and showcasing, I think I'm going to actually use the RCLT HD. This one is my favorite just because I'm a big guy on suspension play. And with the bigger tires, they just look absolutely phenomenal. I also love the one thing that you changed at the end, which I never even thought of. And a viewer commented it, and we discussed it, and you just kind of changed it right away. Was adding the BFGs as mud tires, and you lowered the PSI a little bit, so they're a little bit softer. And I think that also just looks incredible when you look at the different suspension options that we have.
Yes. Those are the things as well are due to attention to details. The model's complete, and I thought, what can I do to bring this out a bit more to make it feel more realistic? And when the modding process is complete, I go through the mod, and it's those little things I pick out and I tweak.
Right, and even I mean, so the studded tires, that was a tire model that we purchased, but without the studs. And if you look at them, you studded them perfectly, super realistic. They're all like not even a hairline off from each other. Like it's exactly what you would expect in real life. With the studs, and them being a mud tire and the TRD rims, what was your inspiration when you picked this stud pattern or the size of the studs? I know that that can vary a little bit as you see in different mods. Some of them have these massive studs. Some of them you can't even see a stud at all. It just looks like a little nail. So when you decided that you wanted to stud the tires and you started getting into the process, what was your vision, and did it end up the way that you thought it would in the end, or did you surprise yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I mod, if there's something I'm uncertain about, the first thing I do is go on Google and I start doing research. So the studs were really just information I found off the internet on how, because where I'm from, we don't use studs. So I've never actually seen a studded tire in real life. But the one in game is based off a real life tire and research I've done, and it looks pretty good.
Oh, it looks incredible. And now as I'm finishing up the customization, this brings up such an important topic and something I think is going to be a huge highlight. Towards the end, you had mentioned that you made a massive change for the spare wheel add-on. So I'm going to go ahead and equip fuel and wheel frame, which unlocks all the spare tires. And I've never seen this before. I've honestly never seen this before in a mod. So when you look at the fact that you can change the tire and the rim to match what you have on your truck, what inspired that idea? When you were playing the game, what came through your head as you're like, wow, you know what? Let's customize it so that they could customize the tire to match. Because, as a user, it always bugged me when the tires on the actual truck were different than the spare rim. It just never made any sense to me, but it was a standard mechanic, so I never thought it could be different. So I'm curious, like, how that sparked that inspiration for you and where that led you to.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take the credit for that. I'm one of those as well that that thinks having a tire like that on there, whether it doesn't match or not, it just performs its job. It gives you a spare tire. But you know, shout out to, I think his name is RF the Great. He was one of my testers, and he just pointed out to me it would be cool to be able to select the tire that you're fitted to the truck as a spare tire. And I was like, you know what? That is a really, really good idea. It took me
Brilliant.
literally took me 20 minutes of work. And I said to him, I've just updated the mod, have a go at it, let me know what you think. And he was blown away. He was blown away.
And that
Yeah.
brings in the next question was, is that something that you think you're going to implement in your future vehicles that have a spare tire option?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Because this adds realism and immersion to the game. It makes it feel like real. I mean, in real life, you would not have a random tire as your spare when you have, different types of tires fitted. So if the mod I'm working on has that feature where we can fit wheels at the back or something like that, or underneath or wherever on a frame, then that's something I think I would go off implement. I think the Tacoma has set a benchmark, and I believe I need to keep aiming for that. I can't go below it.
And I agree completely. And when you look at now, so I got everything customized. I'm super excited for this. The other thing I want to touch on is in my opinion, one of the most ingenious, brilliant things that I've ever seen in a mod, and it's something I think is very game changing. Looking at the textures, you can tell that this truck, in every aspect, because you can choose from the dirty rim to the clean rim. The dirty rim's in the back. The roll cage has a little bit of wear on it. The Snorkel does. There's lines from the tree brush strokes and everything from it actually being used. When you decided to start trying to do something like that, where did that inspiration come from?
All right. Firstly, I learned a lot from my last truck, the GMC. Although a lot of people are happy with it, I personally wasn't 100% with it. Um, and looking at some of the mods that come on, no offense to the other modders, there are a lot of brilliant modders out there, and they're doing brilliant work. But some of the things that really puts me off is when you get a brand spanking, gleaming new truck out, and you drive around, and it's always brand spanking new. It doesn't. I think that takes away some of the realism of it. So I really spent a lot of time trying to get the textures just right to make the truck look new yet used. And I think I've pulled it off. I think I've
Absolutely.
pulled it off.
This looks very used. And in all the
Yeah,
right ways, absolutely. Even like the texture detail on like the control arms, everything, you can tell.
yeah,
Obviously, the
yeah,
suspension looks new, but in a truck like this, you would expect it to look new anyways, because you probably just upgraded it, for example. So
yeah. So you're gonna see dirt on the texture. You're gonna see scratches. You're gonna see a bit of wear, but not nothing like rust or anything like that. Just normal off-road driving through bushes and stuff. That sort of wear.
absolutely. All right, I just pulled out of the garage. You're still in the garage, so I'll wait out here for
Yes,
you.
yes. All
Did
right.
you take the studded tires or the non-studded tires?
Oh, I'm using the Baja Claws. By the way, that's my favorite tires.
I got you. The
Here we
lighting
go.
on this truck is brilliant too. Every detail on the lighting is just spot on.
All right, here I am.
Don't forget your headlights. Oh, and that before you had them on though, that really showcases the emissive lighting. All right, I'm gonna take us to the. I know everyone's probably sick of this by now, but I thought this was a really good truck to take here. We're gonna head to the infamous torture test.
Oh
Uh,
man, you should have put your mud tires on for that.
we'll see. It's rated excellent in mud. The ice grip on this is phenomenal too. It doesn't slip. It like you can tell that it's slipping a little bit per se, but it's not sliding all over the place. It's not, but it's not super grippy either. It's just super
Yeah,
balanced in between.
yeah. One thing I want to point out, I have increased the mud resistance on the studded tire. So yeah, you have actually got the right tires on, because I know you would put the tires on to be able to drive on the ice, but you do come across a lot of mud on the icy maps as well.
But
So
with that said, this tire naturally is a mud tire. It was out for many years as a mud tire before it was released with a studdable option so that people could use studs on it.
we're playing in the dark. It's a shame you can't switch over to daytime on the multiplayer map.
I know. And that's something I thought for sure it would change by phase 3. But no, that's all right though. It might be hard to get it synced. Oh, there's a 2-pack cats that I left here. I knew I forgot to do something. I knew it. All right, so we're gonna go through the right side. I'm gonna put it into the manual low gear. We got the crawler gearbox on, and I'm gonna keep it in low for now and see. I might need a tug to get out. We'll see. So I'm gonna put it in low plus. So far though, the ice handling's been amazing. See, now this is where I got my inspiration from a little bit when I decided to try to tweak. All right, I'm digging myself in. I might have the wrong tires on. We'll see. When I decided to tweak the height setting on this a little bit, it was kind of how do I phrase it? It got buried pretty quick, so to speak. It was almost submerged in the mud within minutes.
You've certainly got the right suspension for the mod, though.
I'm getting out, and you're gonna get in my way. But I actually just dug myself out. So this is the other thing I noticed. Even in early testing, and you mentioned this too, this truck just it drove flawlessly right from the start almost. It didn't need a whole lot of work in terms of performance. And when you look at it now today, it is extremely balanced in my opinion. Like, a Tacoma's a light truck, so you expect it to get where it needs to go, but, you know, at the very least, it's not going to struggle getting where it needs to go. It might not be fast, but for the most part, it should just keep pace. That's exactly what it's doing right now as we continue to push through here.
Yeah, what I want a lot of players to understand is, you know, some people have always said that my mods are underpowered or they need OP tires. But some people, you know, they need to understand that I'm going for realism. So where you lack the strength to get across the mud, I've given a long enough winch, you know, to get you out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is the other mechanic in SnowRunner I always found weird, is that you get stuck on tree branches.
Yeah,
you really get hung up on those. You got a winch on them to knock them down, but you would think that they would either like fall under the truck or there'd be some sort of other mechanic that might be possible. And it's going to be interesting to see if that sticks with the game long term or if it ends up changing later. And here's another thing. I don't know if this is just because of the way it looks right now, but there seems to be snow on my tire. I don't know how. It looks like there's snow on it because of the way that it's dirty, I think. The spare tire.
Oh, yeah. There is an attribute to add snow to the tire. I don't think I've turned it on. I'm not sure if I have, because it's actually using the same textures as the tire that's fitted.
Alright, I'm almost out. I'm positive. See, I don't usually go to the right, but I got blocked off by another taco. And so this is the other thing I absolutely love about this mod too, is the detail in the lighting looks incredible. Especially the reverse lights. They seem to light up like exactly how you'd expect them to. It's starting to get brighter out now too. And the high gear I find is very balanced. I notice in a lot of mods that are coming out now, and I'm not disrespecting anyone's mods, but it's all about vision and everything, but a lot of mods, the high gear is just like a yeet gear. It doesn't actually help you do what you should be doing off-road. Right here, look at the suspension play in my rear wheels. That is incredible. As I hit these little bumps, every little bump you can see. Do you see that?
Yeah, that crawler suspension is just perfect. And shout out to Rapper for helping out with that.
Massive shout out. And big dubs for the tires and wheels too.
Yeah, for sure.
The TRD ones came with it, but like, and that's the other thing I love about SnowRunner and their mods is that, you know, obviously it's about community, and I find trucks like this, they really shine when the community comes together, because little details like that really make the mod what it is.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
So in low plus here, like, again, this isn't just like, it's not super speedy, but it's still, when you look at the suspension play and the way it handles in a lot of the situations, it's just so sporty and playful, and that's kind of, I think, you know, how a Tacoma should be. When you look at some future trucks we've talked about and stuff, I think the Tacoma will be like a little bit of an outlier because of how sporty it is by nature as a realistic in real life truck, right?
Definitely.
After doing the Sierra and the Striker, and I know you're working on the Hummer. Oh, here, we should back up to this house here. Line up for a picture. Now it's getting bright out.
Yeah.
After doing the Sierra and I guess the Striker and the Hummer, what do you say was different about this mod for you as a mod developer?
I've learned a lot of new skills on this mod because this is the first time I've actually tried to spend more time on textures. So I think moving forward, you know, it makes the mod more visually appealing. So yeah, I think this is the biggest, you know, skill or new thing for me. The textures, definitely. Because if you think about it, every mod is technically the same. You get the model out, you add tires to it, you do the interior. But what really makes it stand apart is how it looks, really.
Right, and even, okay, so looking at this too, this is something I was excited to see. The crawler suspension really isn't that much higher than the Fox Balanced. When you see it in the garage, it looks a lot higher, but when you see it side by side like this, it's not. It really isn't.
It's not, but the thing about it is the flex. It flexes really, really well.
Yeah.
And it literally gets you over any obstacle.
Right, and that's, and I think when you look at it and you see the suspension plate that's available in the truck, you can tell, and the way the mud details on the truck as well at every turn, you can really tell like this is something you could use to haul. And like your truck right now is a great scout. It could haul some small light trailers. My truck, on the other hand, is great for recovery. It's probably unstoppable with the crawler suspension. And I know in the new map, like Wisconsin, I know in Michigan, there's a lot of areas where there's rocks and all these other things that you get hung up on real easy. That's where the crawler suspension and gearbox can really come in hand.
Yeah, the idea was to try to cater for as many players as possible on one, you know, on one mod without going OP.
And so
I think that's the only player base that I probably won't appeal to is the guys who just wants, you know, loud and fast, drive over everything type of mod.
And so this in my usual mod reviews is one of the biggest test factors for trucks is this little piece of snow. And between the crawler suspension having the clearance it needed and the gearbox itself, it was just a breeze. That was incredible.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. You're just going.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
still
much.
struggling.
But we got a winch. We're good.
Yeah. So you can see, based on what setup you've picked, you've actually got an advantage.
I'll give your short truck a little tug.
Oh, thank you.
Anytime. There we go. Yeah, no, it's absolutely incredible. And I guess we'll close this off here, and I'm kind of curious to close off. I know we can't say for sure. Other than the badges, will the console version of this mod be any different than what we see here today for PC players?
No, it's going to be exactly what you see here. It's going to take some time to get the badges off, but nothing's going to change. I'm not going to add or remove anything. So you're getting exactly what you see here for PC. You're not going to miss any. You're not going to miss out on anything.
I know some people get concerned about that when you talk about console mods and conversions and approvals and all that other stuff. Is, you know, is it going to be the same? Is it going to be, what are we going to miss? And that's one thing that I think is a highlight for this mod, is that the console players will get the exact same, again, just without the badges, will get the exact same experience that you can have on PC, and that's huge.
Yeah, for sure.
And the last thing I'm going to showcase while you guys are watching is the front view camera. Can you pull ahead a little bit, Iceberg?
Sure.
Here we go. So this was tested and teased all different ways from Sunday. And Iceberg made such a breakthrough with the last effort he made to adjust the front view camera. Before, it was coming from a different perspective from the mirror, and it was showing, like, it was still showing the front, but it's a little bit of a weird angle, to say the least. And now you're seeing what it is actually coming from the grill, and it looks incredible. You can see here, this is what we'd be seeing if we were in the grill. We'd be seeing his differential, we'd be seeing his license plate, the tailgate, everything, and that's absolutely brilliant. And he added a nice little touch since the last video, is the detail in the interior seats. It looks absolutely incredible. Tacomas have sportier interior or the TRD Pro has sportier interior in some cases, and I think red actually is an option, so this is really nice to see. The sunroof looks awesome, nothing clashes, just looks absolutely brilliant. Iceberg, is there anything you'd like to add as we close today?
I'd just like to really give thanks to the people who's giving me advice on suggestions in getting this put together, because a lot of this comes from the community. I'm new to modding, so I always listen and take feedback. I take criticism well as well. If someone says something is not good, I listen. So I want to thank everyone who's done that, and there's some really cool things coming from me and ATL himself and the rest of the D&D modding team. You guys are gonna love it. It's gonna be crazy.
That all sounds great, Iceberg. And one last thing: should we reveal or should we wait to announce a winner of the community mod project?
Why not? Go ahead. It's obvious though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is obvious, guys. So we've chosen, based on the votes, the unanimous votes on the community mod project, that we're gonna do the Dodge Ram 3500 dually. That is going to be the next mod, guys. That is going to be the first community mod project. I do want to point out here, though, guys, Iceberg does this out of passion, but he spends so much time on these mods. Iceberg does have a Patreon that is available in his mod.io link. If you feel like supporting him, any amount helps. It doesn't matter what it is, but the Patreon link is in the mod.io. And just remember, this guy spends hours on these mods for passion to bring working, capable, just amazing mods for everyone to enjoy. You, me, console players, PC players, and I think with this community mod project and us collaborating together, I really think there's going to be a lot of great vehicles that we can bring. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to help out with the models a bit and some add-ons and stuff like that, guys, but I can't even touch the amount of time and sweat equity that Iceberg puts into these videos. So just keep that in mind, guys. But thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you sub, and the link is going to be in the description when this mod goes live, so you can download it yourself. There is going to be a link in the description for a Discord invite to my Discord as well as the D&D Discord. And on top of that, guys, I'm also going to make sure that this video is in the mod page, basically. If you have any questions, if you see any bugs, anything like that, report in the comments on the video or on the mod.io page, or let us know in Discord. We're pretty responsive. We'll try to get them fixed as soon as possible. But this is a game-ready truck, as you can tell. I think it's about perfect, guys. Have a good night. I can't wait for you guys to get this mod.